Pretty Little Liars is a show about hyper reality. It's a show that can go pretty extreme, and I think it's a good show. My name is your cult boyfriend. We're here to talk about the second season, that's one, two, of Pretty Little Liars. This is the season where we find out who A is. It's okay, where do I even want to start with it? Firstly, it's a 25 episode long season, and I think it's structured and paced extraordinarily well for being a season that is slightly longer than your typical 22 episode long run. I believe originally ABC Family or Freeform ordered 24 episodes, and then they forced another episode on them for their 30 or 31 days of Halloween, whatever it is that ABC Family does. So then I, Marlene King, the showrunner of Pretty Little Liars, and the writers, they whipped up very quickly a Halloween special, which is a flashback episode. And I'm just very impressed by, even though that flashback Halloween episode that comes in the middle of this season after the spring finale, even though that was unplanned, there is so much forward momentum in that episode, and I actually get to hang out with Allison, and I actually get to like Allison for like the first time in the whole show. One of my criticisms from season one was like, why does anyone care about Allie? Why? She doesn't seem like someone who was worth mourning or feeling sorry over. I just couldn't really comprehend it. And watching the Halloween episode, I was like, oh, I get it. She was a firecracker. She was pretty cool. She was certainly a free spirit. Another one of my criticisms from the first season was I wished that any one of the liars, like me, felt that like, hey, Allie, you're a bad person and I don't care anymore about solving all of your many labyrinthine mysteries. I don't care anymore about it. And that actually happened in, I believe, episode 4 of season 2, when they're all forced to see a therapist called Dr. Sullivan, or compelled to see a therapist. um Hannah actually is going through an exercise where she's speaking with Allison, a psychological therapeutic exercise, and in it she's like, Allie, you were mean to me, and I hate you, and I'm over it, basically. And she has every right to say that. Fucking bitch made her bulimic. Let's examine the liars one by one again, like last time. Spencer continues to be my favorite liar. She's my favorite character, and I believe Troyan Belisario is still acting circles around the other three, around most everyone else on the entire show. She is incredibly engaging to watch. She delivers every line with a great amount of commitment and even at times self-awareness. She is by far the most talented and capable performer on the entire show, which makes Spencer a very kind of deep and rich character. We're still dealing with a girl who is kind of battling the authoritative idea of legacy. In season 2, they put even a greater emphasis on her battles with her family, considering that both her father and her sister Melissa are prime suspects for being A this time around. So there's a greater emphasis put on the idea that Spencer is kind of symbolic of girlhood and captivity, and that captivity is the arrested development of wealth, of family, of the kind of upper crust elite secrecy that always comes from that seems to stem from exorbitant privilege. So Spencer is still being fleshed out and is still doing some really cool things this season. I love watching Spencer. She's always extraordinarily entertaining and offers the most things to interact with as a serious viewer. There's always something kind of grappling going on with Spencer. Basically, this season, Pretty Little Liars is an extraordinarily consistent show, right? Because we can kind of lift everything I said about the liars and kind of apply it to season 2. There's not really an incredible amount of new territory, at least not with Spencer, which is fine because Spencer was already kind of like a multi-layered, multifaceted sort of character. I just love that we're exploring the themes and thematics, the aesthetics and the behavior of her character in more depth. I love exploring Spencer, but you can honestly kind of lift everything I said about the liars in my original season one analysis and apply it directly to season two again, because we're just kind of exploring these concepts further, which isn't a slight against the show at all. Especially when you have created a character that is as grappling and as gravitational and captivating is really the word for Spencer Hastings. She's a captivating character. If you've created a character that is as captivating as Spencer, what you're supposed to do is just kind of explore more of her and don't like convolute her character with unnecessary narrative baggage. Really just explore what you already have because it's a gold mine. Spencer Hastings is a gold mine, honestly. Emily got to be a bit more interesting this season. I liked her in season one, but I did feel that her coming out story was kind of lazy. This season, she it auto focuses on Emily Fields, and I really liked Shay Mitchell's performance. I thought she was extremely good in the role, and we really get to explore Emily as she's challenged again and again and again and punished over and over and over again by the narrative, by her own heartstrings, right? Emily is honestly the primary target of A this season. She's identified very early on in the season as the weak link of the four. So A goes out of her way to kind of single Emily out and torture her and punish her and put her through all of these different kinds of trials and tribulations. I think that Emily rose to the occasion and revealed herself to be a pretty heroic, all things considered. And she's also a lot more mature in her romantic relationships this time around. I love that we get Maya back. Um, I mean, I guess she's dead now, but I loved seeing Bianca Lawson again. Always the sexiest woman on any show she's ever a part of. Which brings me to a question. Bianca Lawson, what is your availability like? Are you like only available for like 6 episode half stories? You know, are you uh, Dawson's Creek Vampire Diaries, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Pretty Little Liars? Are all of those shows like are you only available for a very short amount of time? Because you seem to have these you're great in all of those shows, Bianca, but it's either you or it's the network not wanting to commit to you as a series regular. But something's going on where you are so captivating and magnetic and super sexy for like 6 to 8 episode runs in shows, and then you're never fucking then you're gone. Then you leave. Like what's the fucking deal there? What's the big idea? Because you are Maya's one of my favorite characters on the show. I mean, I believe she is dead, which sucks, obviously, because I loved looking at her and I loved being around her, and I like her renegade, rebellious spirit to her, and I do like Emily and her together, like aesthetically they look incredible together. It's like the hottest couple on the face of the earth, and I feel like they brought out good things out of each other. And I wanted kind of Maya to bring out a more rebellious, kind of renegade aspect of Emily. I wanted Emily to become more counterculture, I guess, especially being the daughter of some fucking I don't know his rank, colonel. I don't know, some fucking army guy, National Guard guy. I don't know. Really just a patriarchal figure of authority. And I don't think that like her dad sucks or anything, but I think I'd like to see the contrast. I think I'd like to see Emily become a lot more rebellious, a lot more free spirited. And I feel like Maya could have brought that out of her. I I feel like Maya was a very liberating part of Emily, obviously, because she was the catalyst for Emily coming out of the closet, and then she was banished from the storyline to a fucking like juvenile work camp or something, which made her so paranoid in season two that she started using drugs again. Or it's just fucking pot for all I know. And even if it was more than that, I totally empathize with Maya's fucking struggles through this season. Like, dude, I don't fit into this weird, intricate narrative. And I feel like my girl's gonna rat me out. And I feel like people here just forget things way too easily. I would also be like Maya and be a complete fucking bitch to Emily's mom at that dinner they were trying that they were had to try to like settle old scores or like make everything right again. I would also be like, yeah, I just can't help but remember that time that you got me shipped away to a fucking work camp, all right, to a juvenile rehabilitation facility in the fucking woods. I, I've had friends who had to go to those places. I think even back then in like 2011 or whenever this season was on television, it was known those places are very abusive and brainwashing, so psychologically and physically tormenting. I am so with Maya. I wish that Maya was more of a wrecking ball here, and I wish that Emily kind of was more inspired by Maya's rebellious nature, and I think that that's kind of like a lost opportunity, unless, and it goes back to my original question to Bianca Lawson or the network, like A, the network did not commit to Bianca Lawson, or B, Bianca, why are you only available for like 6 to 8 episodes and then like you never want to come back to the show? Why do you do this to me, Bianca? You were so cool in Buffy. You were amazing on Dawson's Creek. I really wish we got more of you on Dawson's Creek. And you were outstanding on Pretty Little Liars. One of the shining stars of the first two seasons. I really hope she's not dead. I really hope it's a mistake, but the way the season ended, it seemed pretty damn final. It seemed for real, for real. I just don't want that to be the last time I see Bianca Lawson. I thought she was incredible. Like I said, I think she is a highlight of the first two seasons. And if she's gone, that's so much potential wasted, and just Maya is symbolic of lost opportunities of its own making, of the show's own making at this point. I fucking love you, Maya. I don't want you to be dead. You are worth mourning. Oh my God. Could have been a great character, and I feel like they were experimenting with those rebellious qualities of Maya that could, and those liberating qualities of Maya that could be great. I even love when she does her room up in the second season, make it look like it's underwater. It makes you remember the Jenna scene from early on in the season, where Jenna makes that cool fucking candle cover thing. I don't know crafts, bro. I don't fucking know. I had a girlfriend who was obsessed with it, and I blocked that all out of my memory. Kind of triggering PTSD. She was a crafty kind of fuck. But like the cover of a candle thing and it turns around and it makes it look like it's underwater. And even Jenna says it's supposed to look like you are underwater. And that's what that room reminds me of. And that's where I think that the interesting part of season two is its delicate part of its design. It's kind of like intuitive part of its design. I feel like it is telling us through these scenarios, especially since it's Jenna and Maya who are kind of pulling us deeper underwater, right? Like I think that this season makes you want to feel like you are in the deep end, in the deep end of the narrative, in the deep end of secrecy, in the deep end of the teen drama art form, which I also think makes Emily a versatile kind of archetype because she is the swimmer. She is an incredible swimmer, and Emily being the primary target of the second season, and also Emily being the being identified as the weak link by A. I think that Emily truly is kind of the main character of season two in a large way, at least symbolically, at least metaphorically, because I feel that this is a season that is about swimming in the deep end of narrative and asking you, the audience member, to take the plunge, to kind of go with it, to dive into the deep end and not drown in it, but be kind of liberated in a way, feel kind of serene, because that's how we feel when we see the shadow play on the wall that makes you feel like you're in a pool. In both the Maya and Jenna scene is how you feel. I like that. I like that quite a lot. There's a lot of physical poetry to Emily's. storyline this time around. The visual storytelling involved with Emily makes for some really cool grammar, filmic grammar to interact with. Hannah, oof. Okay, so while they stepped up their game with Emily, Hannah became a lot more boring. I don't care about Kate. I don't care about her mom. I don't care about her dad getting remarried. I all of a sudden don't necessarily care about Hannah and Caleb. I like them together, but Hannah really didn't do anything interesting this season. Um, Not a thing. She really didn't do anything interesting this season. If anything, they kind of like they kind of forced the idea that Hannah actually is a very dumb blonde. She really doesn't add much here. All of the liars are necessary, so if I'm harshly criticizing one, it's mostly kind of the plotting and the story structure, and the storyline for Hannah was just uninvolving and while I wouldn't say lazy, I would say full of misfires. Like I couldn't be compelled to care about anything she went through this season. Sorry. But she's still better than Arya. I still hate Arya. I still hate Arya. All of them are necessary characters, right? I like that there are four of them, and I like that when the four are together, it's extremely iconic and it's very moving and it feels powerful and legendary. That much is undeniable. But Arya, I hate her storyline. I hate the idea that she and Mr. Fitz are these romantic martyrs. I think that the relationship is entirely inappropriate, mostly because of the power dynamic, him being her teacher. I hate Mr. Fitz. I hate Arya. I hate the way that Arya treats her family. I hate the way that Arya treats her friends. I hate the way that Arya and Mr. Fitz are portrayed as these doomed, like tragic lovers. They liken them to Shakespeare in quite a few ways. I feel like that's stupid. I feel like Arya is stupid. I also feel like part of my problem might actually be the fact that Lucy Hale is not charismatic. Lucy Hale is not like a gravitational force on screen, and I'm never really drawn to her presence. If Arya had some sort of charisma to her, I probably wouldn't be here criticizing her so harshly. But Arya had no charisma whatsoever, and I think a large part of that is Lucy Hale, and the other part of that is the writing. It's just uninvolving. It's just not great. And I feel like the show has to know it. I feel like I, Marlene King, upon watching season one, is like, okay, so we messed up. The person who we assumed would be our central character, Arya, um, is actually the most boring one out of the four. In fact, she is the only boring one out of the four. So, like, what do we do? And I think they tried to do what they did with Spencer, and they're like, there must be interesting things with Arya. We just have to explore them further and more in a deeper way, and kind of give this show Pretty Little Liars a tender romantic core. But it does not work with Arya and Mr. Fitz. It does work with, Hannah and Caleb. I just I'm just kind of over it at this point. They have good chemistry, but it's not that amazing chemistry. Spencer and Toby have better chemistry than Hannah and Caleb, but there still actually hasn't been that couple that really blows my mind yet. There really hasn't been, and that is a flaw of Pretty Little Liars. It's what keeps it being a good show instead of a great one. You don't have a sort of immediate chemistry like a Lucas and Peyton or a Joey and Pacey. You don't have that immediate chemistry with anybody yet, and that's a major weakness, a huge handicap when we're kind of analyzing and engaging with teen drama because you need that. And I feel like this show is trying to force it, but it's very artificial. And I think the artifice is most um, unforgivable and unapologetic and arrogant when I'm being forced to interact with this Arya and Mr. Fitz Ezra bullshit. I hate them together. I hate them together. I hate the entire story of that, which is most of what Arya does. I don't like Arya. I still don't like Arya. If anything, I don't like her to an even greater degree than I did in the last video. I hate Arya. I have no use for her. She offers nothing to the analysis. Moving on. to Jenna, fucking dream girl Jenna, dude. She is still this fucking crazy fucking stylish villain. I love her so much. She's great. She got some eye surgery this season and she can see, but she's not telling anybody. This chick makes me paranoid. I never trust anything that Jenna does, but I love watching her. I love being around her. I love being in the character's presence. She is a less is more character, and Pretty Little Liars capitalizes on it. I never feel like I'm seeing too much Jenna. I never feel like Jenna is being normalized. I always feel like there's something I should instinctively not trust about the girl, that there's something that is psychotic about her. And I love that. I love being around a dangerous character that excites me and stimulates me and keeps me wanting more. I love Jenna so much. She's still fucking perfect and perfect looking. She's incredible. I love Jenna. I can't wait to see to see where we go with Jenna. She is there are oftentimes she is the fuse. She is the thing that keeps this time bomb that is Pretty Little Liars in a forward momentum. She's the time bomb, just waiting to explode, and I can't wait. Uh, she time bombs, and I fucking love her. Jenna time bombs. I love her to death. Oh my God, give me more. Hey, or in my opinion, she's probably an A. She does say in the car with Spencer when she's freewheeling it or whatever, she's scaring Spencer half to death when she's revealed as A, that like you either die or you join the A team, which I would assume means there's more than one A. And she's also visited by someone in the final scene of the season, the kind of cliffhanger where she's like, I did everything you asked. So there's obviously another A, or she's not actually A, but I believe she is A. There is part of a team because it's impossible for one human being to be this omnipresent. I don't care about that Hitchcockian ending. The last episode was actually full blown Hitchcock, and like specifically it was Psycho, right? Because we got creepy Norman Bates motherfucker running this weird ass motel. We have our hot blonde taking a shower and kind of being stalked and preyed upon. And then to top it all off, we get like the ending of Psycho, which is a psychologist talking about Norman Bates's psychosis. We get that here as well. Like Dr. Sullivan is like she suffers from hyper reality. She is a fucking psychopath. And then we even get a voiceover, which is like mirrored in Psycho from a voiceover from Norman Bates, or Norman Bates's conception personality of his mother in his brain. It's the exact same thing from Psycho, which part of it is camp, but a large part of it is a name that I briefly mentioned in season one when I was describing Jenna, because Jenna doesn't seem like she's part of this show. She walks out of a different genre. This show loves to bend genres. And I said that she looks like a villain from a Dario Argento film, or she acts like a Brian De Palma villain in an 80s erotic thriller, or a Brian De Palma femme fatale, to be more precise. I think there's a lot of Brian De Palma here. I really do. And one of the things that Brian De Palma was known for, in case you don't know, is shamelessly ripping off Hitchcock. But I actually think doing Hitchcock better. Like, for instance, Body Double is a much better film than Vertigo. No, no question about that. No hesitation. I will throw Hitchcock under the bus for De Palma. And now I'm thinking that I, Marlene King, is from the Brian De Palma school of filmmaking because, like Raising Cain, or Dressed to Kill, or Blowout, I feel like that scene that is so heavily Hitchcock, while Dr. Sullivan is kind of over explaining her prognosis, her psychological problems. Yes, there is camp there, but I feel like it's supposed to be taken seriously, but through the moody behaviors of a Brian De Palma film. So the show Pretty Little Liars is style first. A case where the style has so much substance to it that it overwhelms the actual writing of the show. I believe that this is probably one of the most aesthetically driven shows that we've covered. And so, what does that mean if we're applying Brian De Palma to a teen drama? What does it mean if we're applying the 80s erotic thriller or ripoffs of suspense to the teen drama? It means that we're entering the territory of of B movie madness. It means that cinema logic trumps all of other forms of logic. It means that no one is safe, and it means that we are not only in the deep end of the pool, the deep end of teen drama, but we're in the deep end of narrative cinema. We are in the deep end of suspense filmmaking, and I don't think we have a life raft. I don't know how far this show can keep it up, right? Because it's a good season. The only irritating thing about season two is that it is really how consistent it is. I mean, it's delightful. It is a very addicting kind of television show to watch. I found myself really just fiending for another episode the second one ended, which is great, which is good. But consistently good. It is never very good. It is never great. Consistently good. This is a show that loves its red herrings. It's a show that loves Veronica Mars, but Rob Thomas handled mystery a lot better. But that's the thing. You don't watch a Hitchcock or a De Palma film and go, "Oh, the mystery was so incredible." You watch a Hitchcock or a De Palma film and you walk away from it feeling like horny, paranoid, and dirty. And I actually think that's what Pretty Little Liars is going for. It's a bit trashier about it, which is fine. It's still dignified entirely. Veronica Mars had a more literary approach to mystery. Veronica Mars had a more Angela Lansbury kind of feel to it. I feel like Rob Thomas's mysteries were very well plotted, and extremely detailed and fair. Right? Pretty Little Liars is an unfair show because it's devoted to hyper reality. It's unfair. Pretty Little Liars is very unfair with its mystery. And I feel like it breaks its own rules of narrative, which is fine because that's what De Palma and Hitchcock did. So what we're dealing with here isn't necessarily a mystery. It's a paranoia infused teen fantasy, a dark teen fantasy. So I think that the show is tricking its audience into framing it as a whodunit, but that's not really what it is. It's a show about punishment. It's a show about style, and it's probably a show about liberation because you do get those liberating, rebellious qualities from characters like Maya. And I do feel that the second season, the first season brought us into the swimming pool, and the second season is pushing us into the deep end of teen drama, the art form. And I'm here for it. I just, I would be cautious if I were I Marlene King at this point, because the waters that Pretty Little Liars is treading, uh, it's incredibly easy to drown in them, right? Seasons one and two are both good. They're both good seasons. Nothing more, and certainly nothing less. Good seasons of television. Can it be great? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. And I want it to be great. I honestly do. But we'll see, won't we?